I have said this before, but I've never felt as like good in the water as I did the first day I dove into the pool at UVA. Like something just changed immediately. And so kind of like grew a lot over the 3 years I was there, and went into 2024 just with this whole new mindset of like, I'm making the Olympic team. There is no backup plan. There is no what else. Like, that was the goal. I was going to do everything in my power to achieve my goal, and I wasn't going to think of any other future outcome for myself. And obviously thrown a little bit off when I like break the world record night one semifinals, because I was like, okay, I knew there was expectations for me to make the team. I'm expecting myself to make the team. But now everyone in the world is like, she hasn't already made the team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's broken a world record.
It went from here to suddenly here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And nothing about the meet changed, but just like all of these new thoughts were coming into my head, like, what if I don't make it? Like, what does that even look like? You know, because I'm racing Tori Husk and Reagan Smith. We each, three of us, hold the three fastest times in the world in the 100 fly. And I'm sat there and I'm like, there is a chance I don't get my hand on the wall first or second. Like, there's a huge possibility of that happening. But I just had to approach it the exact same way I approached semifinals. And like, yes, I was more nervous, but I had to just swim the race exactly the way I knew how I've always swum it and planned to swim it. And so staying in my lane was probably the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but just executing it, like once I did that, got my hand on the wall first, I was like, finally, like it was such a relief. And yeah, I mean, what a whirlwind of the first 2 days of the meet, but definitely like made me just like be able to relax and understand like, okay, yes, I still want to qualify in other events, but like I've done the biggest job, which is just getting my name on that roster. And so now I can just do what I'm here to do. I'm here to race. I'm here to see if I can go best times, if I can, you know, like the goal was, yes, to go like a 52 in the 100 free, didn't do that, but ended up like qualifying for that event anyways. And I was like, hey, perfect, did that. 50 free, big personal best time, got my hand on the wall second, and then qualified in that as well. So like did everything I wanted to do. And I think so much of that was just like taking the pressure off, like having that first event out of the way and doing it in probably the most crazy way possible. So I don't know, it was a really exciting meet.
And then talk to us from there, because I did this, right? You break the world record. You almost, like for me, I felt like I almost overshot it, right? I'm like, okay, I break the world record. Oh my God, now I just added even more expectations onto my, personally. Yes, there's people who talk, but personally it's like, okay, now this weight on my shoulders of I'm the world record holder.
Yes.
Do you then have to go back and be like, okay, now it's a different conversation in my head. And now I have 5-6 weeks where that conversation could be going on. How do you then combat that moving into Paris? Yeah,
that was definitely hard because I knew, you know, the goal was like go best time, but that would mean breaking the world record again.
Yeah.
So that just is a whole new ball game of like what it means to go a personal best, and what it means to get your hand on the wall first would mean an Olympic gold medal. So there's a lot of pressure just going into that meet in general. Like the second we got to Paris, I could feel it. I was just like, wow. Nerves.
You're like, ooh.
Yeah. And it was a whole new experience for me, and it was definitely hard to adjust. Like I was a rookie here, you know, and I feel like I did the best I could have possibly done given that environment. Just totally new, really high stakes. Like, yes, Olympic trials is super stressful and most nerve-wracking meet because you know what's on the line, but I felt so much pressure to be the best, to get a gold, to break a new world record, to go a 54. Like there were so many thoughts in my head, and I do still think I can go a 54. Like I was training for it. I was going on these times. I was like, I'm going to do it. And the fact that I didn't do it was, maybe a little bit disappointing, but I was like, I know exactly why I didn't do it. Like I'm nervous as all get out. I'm stressed. There's so much pressure. And so kind of coping with that was a little bit difficult. But once I was up on the podium, like with Tori, I was like, this doesn't get any better than this, honestly. Like, I'm still listening to America's national anthem. I'm doing the victory lap. I'm seeing my parents. I'm seeing like all these UVA girls in the stands who have come out to Paris to watch me swim. It was such a surreal moment. And like, that is what I needed for it all to sink in, to be like, I just did that. Like, all these years, like 2021, like worst summer ever. Yeah. Here, 3 years later, like doing what I've always known I was capable of, and just like finally accomplishing this dream was the best feeling in the world. Like, totally undescribable. But it was really surreal. And then going on with the rest of the meet, like the relay world records, the relay golds, like those were so much fun. Yeah. And I don't know, I just, that those are my favorite parts, honestly. Doing it on a relay was so cool. 'Cause you get to be up there like with your team and your teammates. And, I don't know, it's really cool to be able to think about. And I love like when I take the time just like in my busy schedule to just be like, wow, that was a cool summer, you know?
It's cool that you allow yourself to like daydream like that.
Yeah.
Like, do you watch your races back? Like,
sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah. I like watching my races because I don't know, it just brings back like good memories, good emotions. And I definitely like watching the world record one because I feel like that was so surreal for me. Like, total shock and just like written all over my face. I don't know. It was just such an amazing moment in my career. And I'm like, just the summer as a whole was like absolutely insane. Yeah. I don't even know how else to put it. It was so cool.
Yeah. It was just cool. I mean, every moment that you're saying, I'm like, yes.
I have
just like
chills.
I have full body chills.
Yeah.
Just like watching you do that, and like the emotion was just so raw at every moment. And the fact that the relay was like your guys' like grand finale was incredible.
And like to know that we're only getting started with you. Like, it's, I want to know, like, where does your confidence come from?
It comes from practice. Like,
okay, yeah.
Say that again.
Confidence comes from practice. Yes. I mean, every day doing things that you might not think possible in practice, like, that's what I hold on to, and that's what I'm thinking about behind the blocks. Like, that kind of stuff. Like, that is what's propelling me to drive me and like motivate me to make these goals that seem kind of unrealistic. Like, I'm like, no, I'm doing things in practice that I can do this in a race, you know? Yeah. So honestly, just like holding on to the fast times in practice, even just like small things, I feel like that's what I get it from.
Yeah. You talked about you and Claire going back and forth in the 200 back. How intense does it get in practice? Like, is there trash talk? Is it, are you guys like, oh, she got me on that one? Like, what does that vibe look like?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's between so many people, like me and Kate, we've always been like that. Even like Alex and I, like back in the day, like in high school, that's kind of the environment we were having. But I wouldn't say trash talk, because I do think as hard as it is to not compare yourself to people, like we try not to do that, because it's like, just because someone is having a crazy fast set doesn't mean that you're not either, but definitely like words of encouragement. We like to encourage each other, cheer each other on. I feel like if you're having a good set, then that's your job to make other people come to your level, like get up, and so definitely like love to use our voice in that way. But I would say like sometimes it is hard for us to like find the motivation to race one another, or just if you're not feeling yourself that day, it's like, do you really want to put yourself through that, and so it's hard, but we really do make each other better, like as a team. And that's something that I've always known. At being at UVA, I'm like, I'm racing the best people in the world right now, and this is a totally unique opportunity. Like, no one really gets this. And so I was like, I need to capitalize off of this. Like, I need to be using the people around me, pushing myself by racing them every single day, because that's what's making me better, and they're getting better because of it. And like when Claire and I were racing, I was happy knowing that like I was being beaten, but like I was helping her too. You know what I mean? And like that's a cool feeling to have, where you can lose and be like happy. You know what I mean? Like, I was happy that I lost. You know what I mean? I was like, I went a great time, and then I was able to help my teammate just reach a total new level. So
Yeah. For you, we had an interview with Anthony Nesty earlier, and he was kind of talking about, as a coach, like what he likes to give his athletes before a race. What do you, as an athlete, need before your race from Todd? Is it the words of encouragement? Is it good pace? Like, what is it that kind of sets you up for that world record swim?
honestly, I just need a laugh. Like I feel like we just like joke around. Like, yeah, we'll say a few things that need to happen in the race, but like it's more just like low key, like keep it light. And then when it's time to like lock in, we're like, okay.
Yeah. Is Todd funny? Is he witty?
I think he's pretty witty. Yeah. I mean, we joke.
Yeah.
It's definitely good vibes. Like even if he's not like if he's not making a joke, he's just like screaming at the top of his lungs or something. You know what I mean? Or like making a funny face.
He's just like good vibes.
Yeah.
Like you just want to smile when you're around
totally.
him. Yeah.
Right.
So like I just like love that. I love being a little bit distracted by like anything, honestly, before a race.
Yeah.
I don't love to like just be in my head about it, because I will totally overthink things, and then I'll end up not doing what I need to do.
Yeah.
So just like a few reminders of whatever it may be, plan of attack, I don't know, but more than anything, it's just like I need to be lifted up and maybe just like brought out of a little bit of a hole. Like if I am really nervous, I need to get out of that, you know, because I think my nerves can be like pretty crippling at times.